This is the Tankoa shipyard in Genoa, Italy. The first time I came here was in 2008, when they were still a relatively new company, and I was interested in them because they had two 65-metre yachts in construction speculatively. So both of those yachts were for sale when this happened.
The stock market is now down 21%.
We're now down 43%.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
Do you know you want to?
I have to be honest with you, I thought they were doomed for failure. Entire companies, far more well established than this new kid on the block, were closing their doors. Household names of yacht builders were collapsing at an alarming rate. And here they had two 65-metre super yachts in construction whilst the market was in meltdown. This, though, is the story of a yacht builder, yes. But it's also the story of resilience. It's also a story of commitment. It's a story of what can happen if you know you have a good product and you're willing to take a serious, long-term approach to becoming a major player in Italian yacht building. In 2015, Superyachts was launched. She'd been extended from 65 metres to just under 70 metres, and for a while was hugely successful on the charter market. This was followed in 2018 with the launch of Solo, also extended from the original 65 metres, but this time to 72 metres. Some of you may be familiar with this yacht because when she was for charter through Northrop & Johnson, I filmed her for the sister channel to this one, and the video was viewed well over 1 million times. From there, Tankoa went on to build a series of 50-metre yachts. Vertige in 2017, Bintador in 2019. In 2020, the very distinctive-looking Olokan was launched, and in 2022, Kinder was also launched. Well, let me tell you, from those days of having the financial burden of two super yachts in construction without really knowing whether the market would ever come back or how long that might take, today, a visit to Tankoa is a very different experience. I want to show you around their facility here to see just what they have in construction. There's one yacht in particular that I want to highlight to you, and I'll explain to you why that is in a few moments. But then I also want to tell you about some incredible news that they've just told me about. The shipyard is located just opposite the airport marina in Genoa, and tied up to the dock was hull number 5 of their 50-metre range of yachts in her final stages before delivery. As you walk back from the dock towards the main buildings, you'll see a large white structure that contains a 45-metre yacht that's due for delivery in the summer of 2024. Back to the main building itself, and we find a 58-metre yacht in quite an advanced stage of construction, being built for a repeat client. But wait, a repeat client, that means that most likely he had a 50-metre before. So why would you go from a 50-metre to a 58-metre? If you're going to go up in size, surely you'd go to 65, 75, to something much bigger. Well, the truth is that this is a much bigger yacht. The size of yachts is usually measured in gross tonnage. That's a measurement of the interior volume. And the gross tonnage of the 50-metre series is 499 gross tons. Add a little bit to the beam though. Add a little bit to the height. Add just 8 metres to the length. And this jumps to a whopping 910 gross tons. That's almost twice the size. And the 500 gross ton benchmark is important because classification societies for yacht builders have stringent regulations for yachts under 500 gross ton, but even more demanding requirements for yachts over 500 gross ton, making it a far more expensive and time-consuming build. The sales and marketing manager, Giuseppe Mazza, was telling me about this in some detail. One particularly tall client wanted more head height in the 50-metre Tankoa, But Giuseppe and the team rightly pointed out that increasing the ceiling height would increase the gross tonnage, which in turn would change entirely the build process and the price of the yacht. So Tankoa studied the situation and proposed a different yacht design that we'll be looking at later, increasing very slightly the width of the side decks so that the main salon area would be ever so slightly slimmer, the ceilings higher, and the gross tonnage would stay under 500. They could do this and actually even increase the length to 55 meters. This is the kind of serious approach to yacht building that really impressed me during my trip to the yard, but I was especially impressed by the next yacht that I saw in construction. This is hull number 6 of the Tankoa 50-meter range. She's being built speculatively, so she's available for sale. The delivery is scheduled for the summer of 2024. We're going to have a look at the layout of this yacht, but I also really want to tell you about some of the improvements that have been made on the 50-meter as the model evolved. First though, let's take a look at the layout. The sun deck is spacious, and I'll be expanding on that in a few moments. On the general arrangement plans, you will see plenty of seating, sunbathing, and a bar. But of course, the shipyard would be happy to accommodate custom requests for this area. It's one of the simpler areas of a yacht to customize. On the upper deck, a seating area is foreseen to extend across the full width of the deck, followed by a large, formal dining area under the shade of the sun deck. From here, there will be access to a sky lounge, a pantry to the port side, and a captain's cabin just behind the bridge. Forward of the bridge is this large seating area that from outside the yacht is really quite a dominant feature, and a plunge pool can be requested for this area too if the owner prefers. Further forward still on the bow, there is space for 2 jet skis on the deck. Down to the main deck, and we find another very generous seating area on the aft deck, benefiting from the shade of the upper deck. And there's direct access from here to the main salon area. This in turn leads to an inside formal dining area. Forward and to port is a large pantry with direct access to the galley, and to starboard a lobby area leads to a dayhead and then a sizable VIP stateroom. Now it should be noted that this is quite an unusual layout for a 50-meter yacht, since she actually has 2 staterooms on the main deck. In fact, further forward still is the owner's stateroom with a study area, and of course both of these staterooms have well-proportioned bathrooms. The lower deck. Well, as you can see, a large portion of the lower deck is dedicated to the crew. In fact, in total there's accommodation for 9 crew in 5 cabins, and also in that area you'll find the galley and the crew mess. After the crew quarters are 4 sizable guest staterooms, so this is a 6 stateroom yacht. Then we have the engine room with a dedicated engineer's control room, a toy storage garage, and we finish with a beach club. But what about the improvements being made to this yacht? Let's start with the windows in the main salon area here. Now on earlier models of the 50-meter they had huge windows here with just 2 central supporting pillars to interrupt them. But Tankoa wanted to even improve upon that, so hull number 5 and number 6 have just 1 supporting pillar, giving these huge, expansive, full-height windows, giving much greater uninterrupted views of the scenery around. But while we're here, I want to show you this as well. Now, just about every reputable yacht builder in the world takes measures to reduce the noise, reduce the vibration on board their luxury yacht. And I have to be honest, when I came here to Tankoa, I thought, I hope they don't start telling me about floating floors and floating ceilings, because just about every reputable yard does that now. I'd like to hear about something a little bit different. And Giuseppe did tell me about something different. These tiles are a special noise dampening anti-vibration material made of metal and rubber and cork. And as you can see, they're in the process of laying these tiles all over this area that corresponds with being above the engine room. That is on top of the floating floors, on top of the floating ceilings. They've gone the extra mile to make sure there's even more material to reduce vibration, to reduce the sound on board the yacht, because they want their clients to have that ultimate luxury, comfortable experience. That's not all though. While we're in this area, I wanted to show you this. This is quite a high sill here that you would have to step over to get into the main salon area. Now that's a regulation requirement, because in the unlikely event that a huge wave comes over the transom, at least there's something to stop the water from just gushing into the yacht there. However, it's not particularly comfortable for an owner to have to step over that every single time. So here, Tankoa have designed and built in a huge hidden drainage system, so that in that unlikely event that a wave does come over, it just drains away and there's no need for the sill. An owner and his guests can just walk straight in the maximum of comfort. Meanwhile, in certain sections of the side decks and also the aft section of the upper decks, there are glass bulwarks all the way around here. Now, that may have been done before, but Tankoa were the first people to be able to design a frameless glass bulwark for this area of the yacht. And I have to say, it is a really beautiful feature. The sun deck too was subject to improvements. This is already a huge area, but on holes 5 and 6, they extended it by a full meter, giving more usable space for the owner without impacting on that all-important gross tonnage. The result of this serious and studious approach to building yachts has resulted in a vibrant shipyard with one yacht in delivery, others in various stages of construction for clients, and the confidence to build this 50-meter yacht speculatively, very sure that a buyer will be forthcoming to take advantage of the delivery slot and the short build time. But what about the future? Well, just days before I arrived at the shipyard, Tankoa announced the sale of one of these, the Tankoa 55 Sportiva. It was actually the second one of these models that they've sold. Their growth is such that they've now acquired a 3,000 square meter facility, which is really a multi-purpose facility quite close to here, and they're waiting permission for another 2 80-meter sheds. To think that in 2008, I thought they were finished. Nothing could have been further from the truth. Whenever I film at a yacht building facility, I try to relay back to you something about this spirit of the company, and the one word that kept coming to mind here at Tankoa was serious. But I don't mean serious like a politician who you just want to shut up and go away. I mean serious like a brain surgeon who you want to be serious about their job. You want them to be focused and do the best they possibly can. When I came here, I was met by Giuseppe Mazza and also by Guido Orsi, who's one of the family that owned this shipyard. And they have that laser focus and actually quite a refreshing amount of humility as well, but that total all-consuming desire to concentrate and to do a good job and to give their clients the best product that they possibly can and to have the best experience that they possibly can. It is that level of commitment, it's that resilience, it's that dedication that allowed Tankoa to be born in the middle of a financial storm, but to survive, to prosper, to mature, and today to be a truly important player in Italian yacht building, and a player that I believe will be around for many generations to come.